everybody, this is Wikstrand. So the movie of today is What Dreams May Come. And when this was released in the late 90s, people had some very strong opinions about it. I did what I usually do back then. I waited, and then I waited some more. And I finally saw it a couple of months ago. And I don't know if that hurted the movie or helped the movie, but we're gonna take a look at it today and see whether or not Robbie Williams' journey in the afterlife is any good to watch, shall we? This is What Dreams May Come. The Nielsen family is struck with some serious bad luck because Chris, he finds this woman in what I think is supposed to be some alpine northern Italy, type of a landscape, very beautiful, and he finds this, woman on pure accident, and they get married and they have children, and the two children die in a car accident, and then Chris himself, played by Robbie Williams, he also dies in a car accident. So two car accidents in the same movie that amounts to, dead relatives. That is a lot of things. But Chris wakes up in the afterlife where Cuba Gooding Jr., who is some kind of a angel of some description, who guides him through his new surroundings and trying to make him accustomed to the whole thing about being dead. But back on Earth, Annie is so struck with grief after having lost both her children and her husband in two car accidents, so she commits suicide. When Chris finds out that she has died, he thinks he's going to reunite with her, but because she committed suicide, she has now ended up in hell. And he is now determined to go and try to get her back. He's going to try to defy all the rules and the logics of this world and tries to, find a way of bringing her back together with Max von Sydow. And they're going to take part in a Dante's Inferno type of a rescue mission. Are they gonna be able to bring her back? We shall see. Regarding the whole suicide thing, I will give this movie some credit concerning that, because they actually gave a pretty good explanation to why people who have committed suicide end up in hell. I like that bit. It fixed that part of the movie in a way, even though it could have been made better in my opinion. Now, up until the around 80-minute mark in this movie, I was actually still behind them. I had accepted a couple of really heavy hittings from them, which I was like, I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one either. I didn't like that choice or that thing. But I'm still behind you, it's okay. Just end this thing already. I can sometimes be a very forgiving critic when I'm watching a movie, especially if the movie has such a unique setting, especially if they have a visual storytelling that is completely unique and actually, is different from other movies that you've seen. So I was still with them, even though the script had some serious flaws into the whole thing. And despite I didn't quite know whether or not the special effects looked horribly dated or were so unique that they actually still worked. I don't know which category this very effects-heavy movie lands on, because let's face it, some of the green screen things looks really bad, but it was 1998, so they sort of get a pass from it. A thing they do not get a pass from, however, is the last 35 minutes of this movie. That is when they threw every goodwill I had with this movie overboard and just drove an ice pick in the back of this movie's head. I probably should have given this movie a lot lower ratings than I'm gonna give it, but since I am such a nice guy sometimes, I will still acknowledge that this movie has a pretty incredible style to itself. The special effects still works, and it is a place. This afterlife setting is so unique and such a nice and gorgeous setting that it is the type of place that you want to explore. You wish that you were there. You wish that you could walk around there and see all this magical stuff and just stay there for a while. The thing is also that this movie is also horrendously miscasted. Cuba Gooding Jr. was at this point still not the joke he would turn into later. He was fine, he was okay, he was still riding that weird Jerry Maguire way with that, which I still haven't really been able to figure out. By the way, I think Jerry Maguire is a bit overrated. There, I said it, and that is fine. But the real problem with this movie is spelled Robin Williams. I like Robin Williams. He is a very funny man who has made a lot of very funny comedies. But there was a time period, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s where almost everything he did was pretty unwatchable. Hook, Flubber, Patch Adams, Jack. Fucking Patch Adams. I hate you so much. The 90s Robbie Williams. It felt like every movie he made during this period was just a way for him to tell us how much we should love him, how much we should embrace him, and it got excessive at times, and I was just, God damn it, I hated that so much. And the decision to cast him in this movie slowly but surely killed my entire appreciation and enthusiasm for this movie. Max von Sydow, of course, was pretty damn good in this one, and he brought gravitas to the whole thing. And I should also mention that I was quite intrigued where they were going with this one, because I didn't quite know which route we were going to take, but when I saw where we were going I was like, oh shit, this is bad. This is the type of movie that should have been, you know, a truly art house movie made by either some, you know, artistic Italian or French or Spanish an art house director, or maybe Terry Gilliam, and it, you know, should have been in, you know, French, Spanish, Italian co-production, and they would have, you know, some, you know, big name to carry this movie around. I don't know, Mel Gibson or something like that, and they would just make this into an absolute art house movie and not this Hollywood effects driven sugar coated nonsense. Maybe I'm too harsh on them, but I got really annoyed at the end, and I'm going to say this. The rating that they get, they should be happy that they got that, because I could have chopped even more ratings off them. The movie has a great visual style, and it does have a lot of creativity to it. After some deliberations, I have decided to still give this movie 31 points, because this movie begins in such a fantastic way that it has to retain some of that early magic. Of the bad Robbie Williams performance during the 90s, this is not one of his worst ones. It's not the Patch Adams, Jack or Flubber levels of bad, but it's still not very good. I wish somebody else could have played the lead, but somebody had to do it, I guess. So I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.